So can you guys drop below who's new to me and where did you find me? That would be amazing. I would love to know where you found me from. You're in store for something amazing. For those of you that bought the VIP, I wanted to make sure that you guys understood that we are going to do this in a two-parter. We were supposed to do it right afterwards, but there's a conflict that came up. And I also believe that once you watch this masterclass, it's not going to be long and drawn out. It's going to be very succinct. It's going to get to the point, and I want you to sit with it. And to those of you in the VIP, I'm going to do something very, very special for you that I only do for my high-level masterminds. So for those of you that signed up, you are in for a treat. And hopefully those of you who are watching the replay are looking. So you can upgrade to the VIP at any time, by the way. You can do it right now if you want. So yeah, for the recording, you will get some a limited time access for it. Yes. The reason why I charged for this is because I give pretty much free information out all the time. So when people invest, they do something about it. It's when they get free, they don't do anything about it. So it was a very small micro investment. So for the VIP, which is the hot seat coaching, exactly, Jessica. This is it. This is it. So even if it was a nominal amount, like look how little the amount was. This is like maybe a Starbucks and something, you know? And people who want free don't usually do something. So the rich woman standard is already knowing her value and her worth, and she's not going to give everything away for free, especially what I'm going to teach you today. Now, for the VIP hot seat coaching, like I said, it's $25,000 usually to get me for half a day, and I charge $100,000 for VIP day. So whenever someone's got a chance to sit in the hot seat, sometimes one massive shift can help change the entire trajectory of how you do things. So get into that. The only other way you get that with me is in my Wealthy CEO program. It's just a 1 hour VIP. You get to ask questions. You get to, after watching this, you get to come back and be like, okay, well, I have this thing, help me with it. And it gives you an opportunity. I'll also do a little small teaching, and it will be an hour. And we're going to do it tomorrow. My team will give you guys the times and dates. It'll be after our Millionaire Club call. We have a Millionaire Club call every Thursday. And anyway, welcome to the Rich Woman Standard. The reason why I created this masterclass is because I believe that there is a level of luxury, but there's a level of I'm not messing around with someone. You know, there's a level of I get what I want at this level. And for me personally, I know that I have a rich woman standard. I believe that many women do, but what they're doing is they're waiting to see how much money they have in their bank account to say that they do have that standard. You know, people think money is the reason why most people change but or become wealthy because they have money, they're already deemed wealthy, that's not true. I've been interviewing so many millionaires and multimillionaires, and I've been around women with money, and I will tell you, money does not equal a rich woman standard. You have to become the woman before the rich and wealthy standard comes in. So what's the difference, Shamina? Because you see people with money and you automatically assume they're rich. Who would say that? I see people with money, and you say, oh well, they're rich, they've got money. That's like usually the understanding. They've got money. They've got money there. I'd love to see more people on camera too, please, because I'm here on camera. I'd love to see you on camera too, so we can connect. So it'd probably be right afterwards. I'd say like 2 o'clock tomorrow. Shannon would probably do the VIP. Um, and why is this important? Okay, so many of you are already making money. You're already successful in what you're doing, but what does it mean to get into the wealthy state? This is where I believe rich comes in. Rich comes into a state where you are no longer worried about money. You are no longer letting money dictate your decisions of what you want to do. You are no longer having a dysregulated nervous system. You are no longer in a lack mindset. You are no longer letting the fear around money control your life. And so when a woman has a rich woman standard, she's going to book the first class ticket. She is going to go and eat at the 5-star restaurant. She's going to go and live a luxury lifestyle. She's also going to send the fish back. She's also going to decide, you know what? this is not for me. She's going to dress in a certain way. She won't be bargain shopping all the time for herself. And listen, I love deals. I'm all about deals, but she's going to have a new standard for herself. And those are material, physical things, but also in her emotional state. She's no longer going to tolerate behavior that is not amplifying and growing her rich mindset. And that means toxic relationships. That means letting people stay in her life way too long, you know, allowing people to walk on her, being in a state where she's not speaking up because she just wants to keep the peace. Believe it or not, a lot of women who have power are actually people pleasers because they do not like confrontation. So they're always going to be like, well, how do I fix the situation? And you're going to learn today this formula that I believe that all women who have reached the rich woman standard operate from. Again, do not get this confused with money, because having money does not change you. How many people have seen those lottery winners win the money and then they're broke the next day? The money just comes in and out. What about athletes? They've made a lot of money and then the money goes right away, because it's it's not financial literacy that's the issue. That is part of the issue, financial literacy, but it's also their worthiness, also the regulation of what fear and money bring together and how they can hold that standard. So my team sent me this, and I've seen it before. I actually saw a clip. There's a gal who's on Shark Tank. What's her name? Cochran? Shannon? And she's like, I'm not flying first class. It's a waste of money. She's like, I'm going to fly coach. Now, here's where I come in. Money can't be wasted. Barbara Cochran, yeah. Money can't be wasted. What if you had an infinite flow of it? Because if you believed money couldn't be wasted, your frequency would be, I always get what I want. I get to live the life that I want, and money will always be replenished. That sounds like a dream, right? Well, guess what? That's what I live right now. And that's what I teach my clients to live. And this is how we get to that next level. Because the way that you create and you break through those self-imposed ceilings, because many of you right now, are you making the money you want every month? Like, how many are doing pretty good, but you're like, you know what? I know I should be making more. I should be at 1 million right now. I could be making more. Why am I not making more? How many right now? I'm looking at my team sent me notes. Well, how many right now are I'm making 50, I should be making 100, or I'm making 20, I should be making more, per month. I'm talking about per month. And some of you might want to go to 1 million a month. This is the work that is so imperative that it doesn't require more efforting. And so how many of you are you really where you want to be? How many of you what are you making now and what would you like to make? That's a better question. What are you making now and what would you like to make? Because when you know, and you say, well, it's not about money, Shamina. Okay, but it's also, what are you open to receiving? Because a lot of women are not open to receiving. You were willing to invest, even if it was $11.11 into this program. You decided, you know what, I'm going to come learn from somebody who I see is making a lot of money and living a life that I want. Yes, no? And the way that she's conducting herself, I'd love that too. And so what do you make? But right now you've got to decide. I decided I wanted to make $83,333 a month. But I also decided, that was going to happen no matter what. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I decided that that's the money that I was going to make. The first year that I came into business online, I expected to make $1 million because everybody else was doing it. I did not have a business plan that actually supported me making $1 million at the time. But because I first got into my rich woman standard, I got into the wealthy woman, I got into that state first, the millions came. And it came a year from then, $1 million crossed my Stripe account. If you haven't seen it, there's videos out there of me talking about it, declaring I was going to be a millionaire. I go, this time next year, I'm going to be a millionaire. And bam, I was. What did I do to get into that state? Of course, I worked to make the money. Of course, I did that. But everybody who says they want to be a millionaire, do they become one? Probably not. Right. And so we're working on million+ months right now. That's what we're working on, because I was able to make 100. This is how you want to collapse time with money. I was able to make $100,000 in a month. Then I made it in a week. then I made it in a day, and then I made it in an hour. And part of how we do this is by creating first the standard of what we live by. And so all areas of your life have to be lived in this way. And you'll be surprised that people think it's more strategy, but I call it emotional intelligence. I call it emotional mastery. I call it regulating your nervous system is number one. This is the first thing that you have to do because what's going on with you right now is you're hitting these emotional income ceilings in your life and your business. Because when I just asked you how much money you want to make per month, only a few of you actually answered. So are you really aware of the money you're making right now and what you do want to make? And by the way, if you haven't been in my world before, sometimes I say things that make you go, oh, I don't like her. And it's going to happen because I'm challenging you to step up into a new level of power. And I am no BS over here because I'm a rich woman. And I've come to a standard now. If people want to mess with my time, they shouldn't be in my world. But if you're looking to become very wealthy, I've helped 51 women become millionaires and multimillionaires in the time that I've been here. I've helped 344, almost 45 now women hit their highest cash months, hit their highest cash weeks, hit their highest cash days. And I know what I'm talking about. One of the greatest things about me is I am a high performer and I'm high functioning. So I used to be an attorney for 20 years, and then I had this awakening. I'm not going to get into the big old story, but this is how I've created this. I read patterns in people. And because I read patterns in people, I'm able to take a framework. Unfortunately, none of you are that special that you're different, that the pattern doesn't work for you. So it doesn't matter what state you're in, where you are in your journey. So it's here that when you regulate your and I'm gonna and by the way, at the end of this, I'm gonna tell you how you can come work with me in my Millionaire Club or my Wealthy CEO. They are premium offers, and I'm going to teach you why that's important in your business to have them and how that they can create that $83,333 that you want to make per month. Because if you're running a business right now, how many of you have people have a business? Drop below if you have a business. Or if you're in a 9 to 5, drop 9 to 5 below. If you have a business right now and it's good, both means you're ready to make the lunge, the leap, right? If you have a business, your business is where you can have an infinite amount of money. I believe in having multiple revenue streams. I believe that money should be coming in everywhere. I woke up this morning and already made $500. I like making money in my sleep. Having different revenue streams is a rich woman's standard because she's working less and she's making more. She's also in a place where she has learned how to leverage her time. Billionaires, they use other people's money to leverage their assets to make money. I'll give you an example. Grant Cardone, love him or not, he will ask you to give him his money and he'll go invest it out and he'll make money with it and he'll give you a return on it. So this is how they grow because they're using other people's resources and money. But if you are only using your energy to work and make money, you're going to cap out at some point, right? There's going to be a cap. You're going to tap. It's not like, where's the rest? However, if you learn, which I teach this in my Wealthy CEO, if you have a premium offer and how you can package up your gifts and how you do things, whatever it is that you teach, that miracle, that thing that you know that only you're amazing at, right? That no one else knows, you can price that at a place that is going to bring in clients that are going to pay. Now, here's why the rich woman standard is so important. I am a woman who I believe this is how it worked for me. I decided I was a lawyer, right? I'd been a lawyer, I'd made money. It wasn't, I'd made money, but then I also had a point where I don't like this word broke because I was going through a spiritual awakening. I didn't want to practice law as much anymore. I was having this internal struggle of like, I knew there was something else for me. And I'm like, I had to leave that, go follow this. It was a really hard time because I was identified as a lawyer for my entire life. That's how I knew myself, like my entire life. As after I passed the bar, I'm a lawyer, I'm a lawyer, I'm a lawyer. And I then had to decide how I was going to make money in another way. But I also thought money was the root of all evil. So I was like, okay, I'm going to stop doing this. Money's bad. But then I realized, okay, money's great. What am I talking about? This is just an energy. And I had to get over it. Now, what I realized was this. A lot of the times we're working really too hard. We're working extremely hard for the money we're making. And for me personally, when I look at the trajectory of how I got to where I am right now, I knew there was something else for me to teach online. I came into this space already a powerful woman. However, I started from ground zero almost again because I was like, okay, I've got to sell myself. I've got to come up with these offers. How is my business going to be created? Like I started from like scratch. It was just mud and water for me to put together. And I was really scrappy because I'd started many businesses before, but this was really different because when you're creating a personal brand, personal is in the word, right? Personal brand. A rich woman standard knows she can have everything and do everything. It's not this or that, it's everything, it's all. And so I saw other women doing this work and I said, you know what? If she can, I can. Yesterday I told my team, I go, I have a muse. I look at the muse and I'm like, I see that she's had that success. I already have that rich woman inside of me. How many of you have that rich woman inside of her, but maybe your bank account doesn't reflect it? You know you're powerful. You know that you could be making this money. And I would love to ask a question here. How many people don't believe they have that rich woman standard? Because I really want to help you too. I knew I was powerful. I just needed someone to show me what to do. Just show me what to do. Show me the way. So the moment that I started making money, I started hiring mentors like crazy because I'm the type of gal, I'm very coachable. I listen to instructions and I'll do the work. Show me what to do. So I did. And I knew creating a business online, you had to have a presence. You had to have a really good offer. You had to do the things that were required of you in order to build a business online. Now, the rich woman standard is I already know that I'm wealthy and rich. I didn't get there right away, though. I have to tell you this because leaving law and then coming into this state, I didn't see the possibility at first of how I was going to make money. But I also was going through a really hard time in my life. My whole world was coming apart because I had the dream. I was married to a really nice man at the time. He was good looking. He had an engineering company. I helped him go out on his own. He was making a lot of money. I had my own law firm. We had two beautiful children, which I had a dream about my daughter last night. I always say to her, I wish you could go back and be little. And in last night in a dream, she was just this tiny little girl that still needed mom. And I was like, oh, like my kids, if you not know anything about me, are my wealth. They're like my everything. The woman that I've become, that rich woman standard, is now like my kids have this standard too of how they're going to live their lives because it's so important that kids watch what you do. They don't listen to you so much. And I've elevated that standard. I broke generational trauma with my children, and I also now created generational wealth with them, which is really, really important because this is my legacy that I'm leaving on for my kids, for my grandchildren, and everybody else is going to look back and we're like, remember grandma or Shamina, she was the one, and this is her book. And by the way, if you haven't got my book yet, Unlocking the Quantum Woman, you should go get this book immediately. And if you haven't gotten read it and you haven't left me a review, please go do that. But that's what rich women are coming here to do massive things in the world. They're not here to play small. And I'll tell you, my entire life, I've been a talker. I've been somebody who is not afraid to speak up. However, to be completely truthful and honest about who I am and my authentic self, that was not something that was okay. I had a mask on most of my life because I didn't know it was safe to be me. And I'm telling you, the rich woman is not afraid to be who she is. And this goes hand in hand with nervous system regulation. It goes hand in hand with emotional mastery. Because most of the time, while we're afraid to really be our own selves, be unapologetic about it, and send the fish back and say, you know what, I desire to be rich. Rich now has become such a bad word, even with like Facebook ads, it thinks it's negative because people have abused this word or made it mean something that it's not. And and you know what? Whatever meaning you assign to rich is up to you. I decide rich is going to be rich in everything, your health, wealth, your spirituality, all of the things in your life. It's what your physical, everything you want. It gets to be you, right? So why does this matter? So if you're hitting, 10K months, 20K months, 50K months, 100K months, you want to decide that you've got to learn how to lead and be somebody that people are going to stop and listen to. People listen to women who are rich and wealthy and are doing the thing. I don't care what anybody says online about anything or in person. You see a woman who's well dressed, who is well spoken, who knows who she is, and can command a room. People are going to follow her. Yes or no? They're going to probably judge her a little bit. The ones that are in lack and scarcity might judge her, but the other ones who are in abundance are going to be like me. Well, if she can't, I'm going to do it too. What's my problem here that I'm hitting a ceiling? Like I want to figure out how I'm going to break through this ceiling and and what it is that most of us were raised in survival patterns. We have survival patterns. A lot of us, the way that we created the money out of the fear of not having it and the safe that not feeling secure is the same reasons why we're afraid to use it, invest it, enjoy it without justification. Hear me with that. Without justification. How many of you have bought something really nice, but you said I worked really hard for it? About that, but I worked so hard. How many of you have bought something just to buy it, just because you wanted it? I'll tell you, my G-Wagon was one of those. I just bought it because I wanted it. I paid cash for it because I knew a lot of people are all over the Instagrams and stuff. I wanted the title to my car. I wanted to be like, yep, I could buy it. That was a standard that this rich woman wanted. I wanted to own it. And financial literacy will tell you do not own your car. They'll tell you to, take that money and buy something else because I could go buy a house for $300,000. But what I teach and who I am, I wanted to be able to pay that in full. I also went by my Rolex. I don't need those things. I could justify and say Rolex is appreciate and value. I waited 18 months for this, but I just wanted it. Did I have to pay $60,000 for a watch? No, no. Or get my Cartier or get my bracelets. None of that. We don't need any of those things. Let's go, Jessica. Let's go. Let's go. I love when clients have Porsches because Porsche's like that's the old money wealth. Like when you have a Porsche, and this is like the thing that I'm getting to. It's like an identity upgrader because it's like you are walking in and you're like my ideal client, Jessica, because it's like you're walking into a space where you're like, I already know I get to have the things. Just show me how to do it faster. I already know. And sometimes what happens with a lot of women is that it's not that they don't know how to make the money. It's like, show me to do it faster. Show me how to keep it. Show me how to compound it. Show me how to really grow into that level and state that I'm in. If you're still trying to make the money here, there's something else that's going on with you that you don't believe that you can have it. And that's a conversation for another day. What I'm talking about right now is I really want to get women into being in this state of not overworking nonstop, being in that masculine state, being able to spend without guilt, being able to enjoy, doing all the things. I just bought this program and it was about posing because I'm going for a photo shoot. And sometimes I feel really awkward when I'm doing photo shoot posing. I'm like, do I do I say like how do you look, and it's important when you're running a business online to look the part. And the gal in her copy said, you don't want to be on your yacht in the Amalfi Coast not posing correctly. That's all it said there. And I pressed enter and I gave her my credit card because I was on the yacht in the Amalfi Coast last summer trying to figure out how to pose and get content. But we had drank way too much Prosecco at that point. And I was like, all right, what's going on? But that one piece of copy, she was speaking directly to me. Do you understand? When you live from a rich woman standard, you are going to attract people at that level. You're no longer going to price your programs or your services or what you do based upon, can they pay? Because you won't even be talking to the people, can they pay? Is this landing for any of you? So the first thing that I work with when a lot of my clients and they come in my world, I'm like, how much are you charging? Because a rich woman knows not just her worth, but she knows the value of her offer. And she's not afraid to go out there and have a premium offer. I have a $10,000 offer. I have a $25,000 offer. I have a $55,000 offer. I have a $100,000 offer and I have a $155,000 offer. Now, imagine you want to sell a, a $10,000 offer. Let's do five. The first thing is when people have a limited state of how they're looking at money, well, who's going to buy that? Who is going to buy that from me? But if you do not have the standard of a rich woman and you have not elevated not just the way you look, because clothes are one thing, but it's the frequency, it's the energetics, it's the internal work that you can't lie to the world about. That's called embodiment. I take you from a place of over overdoing, overworking, over hustling into embodiment. Embodiment is when it's in all fibers of your being. You could wear a sweatsuit and people would still know you were rich. Does that make sense? So a lot of the times it's like dressing up a pig with lipstick and calling it pretty, right? I mean, sometimes it could look that way, but it's not, it doesn't work that way because that's trying to fake it. And what I teach is you get to be powerful. It's all energy. And so I bring you through a process. Now, it doesn't lie. I bring you through a process. Look, if you grew up in an immigrant family, you already have a scarcity lack coming in strong. It's just already there. It's just there. That has to be removed, right? And it can't even be scarcity because it's like a lack. It's like, okay, I've got to work really, 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 really hard. And I've got to keep doing, 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 doing. But what I'm going to teach you is the embodiment of the being of the rich woman. And does that mean going in to maybe do some inner child work? It absolutely does, because that's who's usually running the show for a lot of our subconscious minds. It's the one that's telling us that we're not good enough, people betray us, and people leave us. That's the core wounds: unworthiness, betrayal, and abandonment. And if you have any type of abandonment, your relationship with money is going to be on a different level. And remember, it's not even the relationship with money, it's with you, your belief: can I be uber, uber wealthy and rich? And let me go a little bit deeper, which means having money and not letting money control you. How many of you check your bank account or you check in with money before you make a decision to do anything? Okay, let me ask a different question because it's probably yes for everybody. How many of you don't check in with money? You decide on desire and you make a purchase. Say, now I do. You do from desire, Jessica? That's great. Because when you are, that's great, Greta. So for me, I'm an investment person. Like I invested a bunch of cows recently. I did a 2-month investment with, I love putting my money in different places. I invest in different companies. I leverage my money all over the place because I want my money to make money for me. So I'm never afraid to make an investment. I always know that I'm going to get the money back because this is how my money makes money for me. I make the money, I live the money, I breathe it, I make it in my sleep. I make money from my book every month. I make money from my podcast. We're working on our 9th revenue streams. We have 9 funnels we're putting out. I want money coming from everywhere, but you first have to be in that state, right? And so I fly private. There's all these things that I want to be able to enjoy. What did you say here? I never heard of someone investing in cows. Okay, you want to hear the story on this? Okay, my client Christina, it's she came to work with me. She was making $100,000 a month, and she said, Shamina, I can't seem to keep this money afterwards. She had a lot of money leaks. So women come to work with me, they have money because money's not the thing, right? It's the rich woman standard. I said, okay, what's going on? She explained to me the money was coming in, but there was not a lot of overflow. They felt strapped. I said, okay, one, your expenses are too high. You're probably working too much. You probably aren't leveraging this money. And then what's going on with you? Because you are the blueprint for your life and business. You are the identity for the wealth that comes into your world. What's happening with you right now? And we really had to go in and find out. Did some childhood working on her. We went back and did a lot of rewiring of her neural pathways of what it means to have big money. We went and regulated her nervous system so that she could go out there and get venture capital. Actually, it wasn't venture capital, it was other capital to raise money for her business. Nobody really wants venture capital anymore. And it was about 8 weeks, 9 weeks, team. Huge transformation in Christina. She went out and she went to an investors meeting. She landed a contract for $4.5 million. This was huge. She was on the turn up. She owns a ranch in California, and they are the only ones that make biodegenerative meat, beef and pork. And she knew that she was onto something. Anyway, she went and closed another. Yeah, she's in Sprouts now too. Did anyway, she went and did another contract. It was another, I don't know, I can't remember how many millions it was. When she started working with me, she was making 1 million a year. She went to 6 million her second year. And this year she's going to make $30 million. Of course, I'm going to invest in her. She came to me and she's like, she's like, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. So I believe in her. So I bought me some cows, and there's $1,500 for each cow. And I bought about a couple $100,000 in cows, right? So I have other clients that have done this work too. Had she not done the work that I teach, she would have never lifted the ceiling of what she could create with the wealth. And you're like, what is the work? What is the work? Okay. She wasn't embodying the wealthy woman standard, first of all. She was doing way too many tasks in her business that needed to be delegated. Her support team needed restructuring. She also needed to rewire her offer. And these are quantum leaps and this is like one of like hundreds of clients. When I tell you 51 women have become millionaires and multimillionaires in my world, it's lifting the limit of where you can't see what I can see. And there's a process that I bring you through. So it's being unapologetic. She was not confident enough and convicted enough to go into those meetings. And then when she did the work, the internal work that I teach, and I have a program called Accessing the Quantum through Emotional Self-Mastery. That is my emotional regulation program. It is the program that everybody, I don't care how much money you're making, you need to come in here and you need to do this work first, because it's that work that changed everything for me. And I know it'll change everything for you too. It's a hands down must take program. Now, um, 1 second. Okay. Sorry, my daughter had her senior brunch today. I wanted to make sure she was okay. She was like moping when she just came in. Um, so what it does is it helps you basically be in the conviction that you know that money is there, like endless amount. There's no limit. It's the limits is off. You also know what your value is. She knew how valuable that farm and her business was, but she couldn't translate that into a convicted woman who was sharing that information and walking into those meetings and being like, hey, what she was doing before was a desperate state, because it's like, it has to work, it has to work, it has to work. So she was hustling way too hard. She also wasn't dancing anymore. And I got her back to hip hop dancing and doing the things that she loves, because you've got to tap into that feminine energy. You've got to get into a place where you are also balancing the two. Because if you're only hustling and you're not in the feminine, and I teach femininity a different, it's not bubble baths. And I say femininity, but really what it is it's emotional connection to your higher self is what it is. Because the feminine is your emotions. And for most women, they're not tapped into that emotional state. Why I teach emotional regulation and emotional mastery. I also teach you through a program called Evolved Alpha Female. It gets you out of that masculine into your balanced masculine and feminine energy. And so one of the things that I believe that women are doing too much of is they're trying to always figure out, how am I going to do this? I fall into this trap too, because I have been a woman who was constantly in my mind before. How am I going to do this? How am I going to make the million? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? And I caught myself recently doing it. And I was like, wait, the how is not my problem. Being the rich woman standard and being in the energetics of it first is what all I need to do, and then go take this tasks in my business. It'll all fall into place. Holding that faith and being in that frequency is all that I need to do. That is it. And then obviously do the work, because you can't just sit here and go, I want $1 million, right? I mean, maybe some people can, but I want things to come faster. It is alignment, but it's also raising your standards everywhere. You can't say that you want to be a rich woman and you're in a toxic relationship with someone. I was in toxic relationships with my nail lady. I mean, like years ago. I mean, with people who, because I would want to say like, hey, you did my nail wrong. And she'd be like, nail's fine. And I was like, okay, but I came back to her because she was good at something. And so I was not speaking up for certain things years ago. You don't realize how you like quiet your voice because you just don't want to deal with the conflict because you're not emotionally regulated to deal with the conflict. Now I upset people right, left, and center because I am not afraid to say, this is not okay with me. I will send the damn fish back. I will say I want to sit in a different spot in a restaurant. And it's not me being high maintenance. Why would I go and give and spend five, $600 on a dinner and then want to sit beside the kitchen? I'm not going to do that. So I don't care if people say no. My kids already know my mom's not going to want to sit here. Like now, guess who has the standard? My children. My daughter will never let anybody speak to her in a way that's not aligned with her. She will not have women in her life, friends, anybody. She is now at a place where she's like, that's not okay with me. And this is what and she's not afraid to say it. She's also at a place where she's like, I don't need 100 friends. I need really good friends. And here's the standard that I live by. She's not fawning over her friends. She's not fawning over people. She's a giver and taker. She's also a young lady that gets everything that she wants. My son, too, because there's no gray area. I can only give my kids so much, but I have to teach them how they can go out there and get it for themselves as well, because that's important. So the rich woman standard is not thinking that you don't have the capacity to do all of the things. You already have a powerful version of you inside of you. It's just waiting for her to come out and be unapologetic about it. And this is where I come in because I want all of you, maybe some, maybe you're told you're too bossy, you're too this, you're too much. There's a way of communicating your leadership and the things that you want that it doesn't come across like you're bitchy. And that's the feminine. Because being demanding, when I was a lawyer, I was very demanding. I was like, I want this, and this, but it was from an energy that wasn't healthy. It was from an energy of a force and trying to be aggressive. And I just was on a podcast on Saturday, and it was for these two young lawyers, and they said, well, how did you make the switch? Because when we go to court, we can't, they'll eat us alive. I said, I know, I remember. I said, but the energy I'm in now, men fall all over me and I get everything I want. I don't need to force it. I don't need to make demands. I just decide that I get to be taken care of. I can think things into reality now. Do you know how powerful that is? Like if I want certain people to come into my world, I don't know where clients come from, but they pop out of anywhere. They pop out, they find me. I show up online, I do the work, I'm sharing my messaging. I have, we have a big email list. I run my business like a business is supposed to be run. I have a personal brand, but I'm in my conviction. It is my energy. It's me being me. And listen, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but the people that I am here for, they love me and I love them. I got clients texting me last night that from years ago, 4 years ago, saying, I'm still doing the work that, you taught me and it's changing my life, giving me updates. This is something that I want people to keep doing. Like I had a client, her name was Adriana. And Adriana, she was married to an NFL player. And no, not NFL player, NBA player. She was also playing basketball. She came into my world. She was very masculine. She ran a mortgage company. And um, they had money. They were doing really well. But she's like, Shamina, I know that I'm very masculine. I'm doing too much. She had adrenal fatigue. She had three boys. She wanted them all to be successful in basketball because they're going to be all tall. She's 6'2". He was 6'9" or something. And I don't know, really tall. And she every moment of her day was regimented out. She was constantly feeling like she had to fix her looks or fix her body and look a certain way. She was constantly like doing. I remember the first day she came on the call, she's like, how do I be feminine? What do I need to do? Tell me it. And she was taking notes. And we're like, that's not what we do. You have to go through the process and the work. And as she started getting it, she's like, Shamina, I don't know what's happening. Because this was a down market last year when the real estate was having an issue. She's like, my husband keeps telling me that we're going to do more deliveries to drop off more money. Me, lost audio? Can you guys hear me still? Oh, I'm fine. Okay. And so she kept saying that her husband was going to drop off more money where they're not sure what happened. But he's like, whatever you're doing is working because they made more. They made, I think it was 270,000 in the first quarter of last year. And it was, they would have made that in 6 months and they made it in that first quarter. So we would collapse time around what she was doing. Anyway, her 40th birthday, he rented her a jet for her friends, and they went off to Nashville. She said he would have never done that before. The relationship completely changed. She was now able to receive him because she was emasculating him. And I mean, the guy's an NBA player. Like, I mean, it can't get any more masculine than that, right? But if she's 6'2" and being her masculine, she did it. She's like, I realized now I really needed to just receive his love. I needed to work with him. And she did the work and she got the results. Another client that came in to work with me, she was making $100,000 a month, but nothing was happening afterwards. She was like, I don't know where the money's going. She'd made lots of money. She was a naturopathic doctor. And I said, you really got to really curb this lack mindset. She had a lot of stories from her past that were coming up that were affecting how she was doing things. I had to do a massive rewiring with her because the way that she was seeing the world was through this lens of her past. Once we did, she had a massive contract come in. I want to say she hit her millions, but now she's on to making multiple million. How big was that one month? I think it was like $300,000. It was a huge. When Sarah had she went in, she found a new business founder, and money's been pouring in ever since. I had another client, Kylie. She came to work with me. She's making about 100. And you don't have to be making 100 to come with me. I'm work with me. I'm just telling you these are some stories of women who have made money that have issues, but then they had more money, if that makes sense, right? And it's like, I've had women that come in that are making, 20,000, like Olga, and well, she was like making 2,000 and she would start making 30,000. But anyways, with Kylie, she wanted to quit an offer because she was tired of it anymore. And I said, no, let's restructure this offer. It was $5,000. Then she went in, kept that offer. We created a $30,000 premium offer for her. She ended up going from 100,000 to 400,000 in 1 month and then had a baby 2 days later. I mean, that's incredible. Um, Another woman that I had, Olga, I was telling you about Olga. She was kind of in a stuck mode. She's like, Shamina, I know I should be doing this. Anyway, she waited too long. She waited a month to join me. She said, I wish I'd done it sooner. You can watch all these testimonials. They're all over everywhere. And Olga said what she needed to do. She had a really great agency she had a sales agency. She was doing great, but she was doing everything in her business. And she came from a Russian background and thought she was responsible for everybody. She didn't know how to tap into her feminine to receive. And so she completely quantum leaped because she was like, oh, I get it now. I'm doing way too much. I'm not doing the work you're teaching me. I'm not yet. What she did when she came into the program, she said, I'm going to do exactly everything Shamin is telling me to do. And guess what? She did. And she started having $30,000 consistent months and her business just grew. She started traveling with her husband, enjoying him, celebrating, being able to be the mom and stop worrying about everybody else in her life. And she grew. And it was really amazing to watch her do this. Again, I could talk all day about testimonials. Now, here's what I want to do for you guys. The rich woman standard is a woman who is completely emotionally mastered. Her masculine and feminine is balanced. She is no longer in lack. She is in a fruitful place of abundance. She also is a woman who knows that she can charge what she wants. She has her value and her worth. She's no longer operating from her three core wounds. She's in a place that she's like, has a standard to tell people, I don't want this. She is the most baddest baddie in the room. I just did an interview with a woman named Stormy. And Stormy to me is like her name is Stormy Wellington. She runs an MLM business. She's a huge social media, 1. I don't know, 5 million, huge. Stormy has a great come up story. If you haven't heard her podcast her episode on my podcast, you should listen to it. And Stormy said to me, Shamina, you just move and power without opening your mouth. She's like, you're so powerful. And she's like, and even Elena Cardone, who is a friend of mine, if you haven't seen her interview, I was on her podcast. She's like, you just have power. You think I could go be with these women if I didn't have power? This is what I want to instill in every single woman that comes into my world. You have the power inside of you to be the woman who is unapologetic about everything, including your wealth, and not be bitchy about it. Not be somebody who rubs people the wrong way in that way, but be a powerful woman that can not demand, but attract the wealth, the success, and everything thing that she wants because bees get more honey, right? Like, is that the saying? You can get more honey with bees than being a certain way. And I was a lawyer who negotiated the tough ice woman way. But then I became this woman who was like, no, I can do it this way. And I want every single woman to really awaken that level of power inside of her because then she can say, you know what, there's no limit to the wealth that I want to create. You know what, there's no limit to the opportunities that I want. You know what, there's no limit, there's no limit, there's no limit. You're convicted, you're an embodiment of this work. When you become the embodiment, you take that forever. You leave me, you have that, and you keep embodying it. And then you have your legacy and you create whatever business you're doing right now. I'm telling you, you're probably acting way small in it. Way small, way small, because it's going to be bigger. I'm the mentor that you came to activate your bigness because you know you have it in you. You know you have that inside of you, that power. And I'm here to hold space for you so that you can go out there and explode. That's what I want for you. I want you to be in that state. So, how can you work with me? How can you work with me? Well, as I said, I have a program called the Millionaire Club. It's a 6 month beautiful program that I bring people in. This program is you meet with me on Thursdays once a week to do a Q&A. This program, I offer you to self-study 3 programs in there that you need to go through. And it's called Accessing the Quantum Through Emotional Self Mastery, which is the your nervous system regulation program, which it also helps you create your reality. There is quantum physics in that program, which when you do the type of emotional work that I teach you, if you've ever heard of Neville Goddard, you got to feel it real. I teach you that when you have your emotions in a state to create the reality that you want, you then are no longer creating resistance or emotional blocks to the things that you want in your life. So that program is there to really help you identify how to clean up the clutter, raise your standards, get into that high frequency of a rich woman, a wealthy woman, a woman who can have all of those things. Yeah, feeling is a secret. Like this is from Neville Goddard, but I teach it in a different way. All of the people that I took and I learned from, they didn't do the emotional work because no one wants to touch it. They want to leave it to the therapist. Well, let me tell you, those therapists take my program because the way I teach it, people who have said I've done 20 years of this work, and then they come to me and they're like, oh, I haven't done this work. I'm like, I know because I truly believe I was channeled this work. I had to go live for 13 years and figure it out so I can put it into a program and sell it and give it to you guys. Okay. So that program, and then the Evolved Alpha Female. This is a program where I'm showing you where that masculine traits are and when the feminine, where the feminine traits are. You're going to go in there. Women who are in business, this program is really profound for you because it's going to teach you how to stop operating the masculine, running your business, and how to get into that feminine state, not just in your business, but in your personal life as well. And it's magnificent because it you don't realize what you're doing right now, and it's keeping you stuck. So the next program is called Activated Money Flow. This one does is if there is any scarcity or lack left in you, we're going to scoop it away because a rich woman doesn't have any of that. She's got the standard of, I get to have it all. And she's no longer operating from judgment or from fear or from a place of not feeling good enough and letting that past control her because that's really what it is. Unhealed trauma creates scarcity and that's what creates the lack. And I want to get rid of all of it so you never have to feel less than you are. You can feel the most empowered woman that you are because powerful women have power over everything, including money. Okay. And everything because she's a decision maker. Money loves speed. And when you see how women, billionaires and multimillionaires operate, they know this. They make fast decisions. There's never, should I do this? Should I do that? She's like, no, you trust everything that comes through, everything that gets channeled, all those higher, thoughts, your intuition, the ideas, the creativity. You don't sit there and go, should I? You're like, no, massive action right away. And you take action on all these ideas and then they turn into millions. This is the most beautiful thing. And the conviction that comes from being this woman is like, here I am. Y'all need me, that kind of thing, right? Like I can help you. So that program, Millionaire Club, is 6 months and it is $10,000 paid in full, or there's a payment plan of $2,400 of 5 payments. Go ahead and you can book a call below and you can get on a call with me. Only book a call if you're ready to make an investment and we can talk about it. If you're not ready to make the investment, don't get on the call and talk to me about, yeah, I'm going to put the money together and then I'm going to come invest with you. I don't want to have those conversations, only because I want women who are ready to move now, because my time is money. And I really believe that if you're going to get a call with me, it's going to be one when you're ready. The second program is called My Wealthy CEO. If you have a business and you want to scale your business, depends on what money you're making. You do have to go through an application process. You can book a call for that, and that's $25,000 for the year to work with me. And this month, if you sign up for the Wealthy CEO, I will give you the Millionaire Club included in it as well. Usually, you have to pay for that separately. And we do have a membership. It's a low ticket membership, but it would be with my team. It's $97 a month, and it's called our Money Magnetic membership. You can go and get, be with my team, and they can teach you some ways, and it's great. You get access to these types of programs. You get access to certain things that you might not get access to. What does the wealthy? Oh, all of my programs pretty much. There's no one-on-one. It's group coaching. Um, it's it's something that we just had. We have lawyers in there, we have doctors in there, we have women from all types of backgrounds. I teach you how to create a premium offer. We will map out your entire high ticket offer, and you can get our funnels. You can white label our funnels, so you can copy our funnels. I show you how to get on podcasts. I show you how to leverage podcasts for your business. I show you how to basically take your personal brand to the next level. We show you how to utilize YouTube. I've made $500,000 on YouTube and I have a very small following. I show you how podcasting is the way for high ticket sales. It's pretty remarkable what we're doing. And we show you how to get booked on TV to become the authority in your field. Um, a lot of things. Basically, it's business in a box. Anything you need to know about your business, I got you. Also, hey, if you're having some emotional issues with the work, we help you through that, because you have to regulate your nervous system and rewire your thoughts for big money. And that program is amazing. I just had a lawyer join. Her name is Chu. Yesterday, or Tuesday, we went and rewired all of her offers. She's going to, on that one call, she'll get her entire investment back. We do have payment plans for that too. Book a call with me, Jessica, and we can talk about it. All right, that's it, ladies. And for those of you that have the VIP, we're going to have an amazing call tomorrow. I guess it'll be at 2 o'clock, and come on that call. It's going to be a chance to do Q&A and like basically ask me questions where I can get into, what you need. And if some of you are still on the fence about what you want to do and you're in the VIP, you're in the VIP, still book a call. 2 p.m. tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be the VIP if you bought the VIP. All right, ladies, thank you so much for showing up today. Did you guys feel like you got value from this? Tell me some takeaways that you got. Just drop below. What's some takeaways that you got from this? Oh my gosh, I am. Three core wins, good. I'm just seeing what my team sent me there. I watch a lot of your videos, so not so much different. Rivi, okay, well you paid for this. So I want to make sure you got something. I feel like I learned more about your offers, which is what I wanted. Also, I learned about the 3 money ones. I haven't heard you speak on that yet. That's really good. Well, where's Rivi? Where's Rivi? You felt like you already learned all of this. Okay, so are you implementing it? And are you taking action on it? Are you doing something about it? What are you, because just listening to me and watching my videos and not doing something about it, you're live with me right now, which is one. So that's a live training. Two, if you're not implementing it, then you're not really learning from it. So just watching the videos without action is a huge disservice to you, because information without implementation doesn't do anything. So not that I want to call you out, but I just want to be like, hey, if you feel like there's nothing different, maybe the nothing different is the way you see things and what you're doing.
I'm here, by the way. Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Okay. Oh, okay. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, so I watch a lot of your videos. I've been binging them, and I read your book. And the one, I think I mentioned it. I wrote a comment saying that the one big thing that changed for me was my relationship with money. Saying like money loves me, money supports me every time money
Great.
goes. It's because it's getting me something nice. It's making me happy. and that has changed my whole relationship with money. So I think what I'm trying to say is I knew a lot of what you said here from the videos.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. Well, that's good. Well, why haven't you joined one of our programs then?
Oh, well, I mean, this is my first step. I'm gonna be in your VIP tomorrow, so
Okay.
yeah.
And if you guys, we have ATQ, we also accessing the quantum through emotional self-mastery. It's a great place to start. Oh my gosh. And you guys should probably get on that. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Seem you got the screenshots, right? Okay. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.